So here's an interesting problem, we are working on this one right now, and this came from within the organization. You talk about safety. Well, there's a problem called the critical result reporting problem. A critical result is one which the responsible clinician needs to know in a timely manner, lest something untoward happen to a patient. Okay, and you can't have that work 999 times out of 1,000. Because the N is so large that 1 out of 1,000 multiplies to 5 and 10, so you got to get it right all the time. But it keeps on recurring across every health system in the country. People are, for whatever reason, they're distracted, they look but don't see because the critical result is buried in a welter of other data. So we're tackling that. And we have designed a system that is kind of very, very different from the way the results are currently reported, and we're going to then test it out and see if it works. And so you need to try things out in a kind of controlled, small sandbox space where you can prototype fast. The measure of innovativeness of an organization is how fast you can prototype something and test something. You can test it in a controlled area, and if it works, start spreading. If it doesn't, retool. It's true that there is no innovation without variation. You've got to be trying stuff. And as long as you keep the higher goal the same, which would be the higher quality, the lower cost, safer care, you can tackle those difficult problems in an innovative way and still be consistent with delivering no exception service.
So you talked about the unplanned nature of everything happening sort of in the context of the relationships, the importance that 1776 has played. What about some of the innovations that have come from outside MedStar, where there's been an entrepreneur, a startup, from some various means, whether it's through 1776 or elsewhere, that has been able to make its way not only to your team, but into MedStar as a whole?
Well, one of the great things about the relationship with 1776 is we have we get to see all these wonderful entrepreneurs and help them by giving them advice, by testing them, and by using their technology. So the Rebel Desk, which is a standing treadmill desk, a product of Kathleen Hale, we saw it, we said we're going to get one, and you know it's good when, again, it was that I want that. And it sort of spread like wildfire across MedStar. We've tried the 1EQ baby scripts, which is to help pregnant mothers stay in touch with their provider and monitor them for high blood pressure and weight gain, which could be signs of preeclampsia. We've done that. We were actually, this is not a startup, but we were the first to bring ZocDoc into the Washington, D.C. area in a big way. And so we look around for small companies that can add value and help us. We deliver care in better ways than we are currently doing.
So you heard some of the conversation earlier about, there's the question about, it's not about sort of feeding the hungry and this idea of, does it really matter? I'm curious your viewpoint on the MI2 and the MedStar viewpoint on why the work that you do relates to things that matter.
Well, I can answer that in a very personal way. As I look back on my career as a working emergency physician, a chairman of an emergency department, and now a director of an innovation center, I am very grateful for the fact that I did not spend my life trying to figure out how to sell more Pepsi-Cola to somebody. I did things that mattered to an individual person, and now we're trying to build things that that can work on a larger scale. So the notion of scalability is something very close to us. We're interested. Our mission is to catalyze innovation that advances health. 2 words are not in that mission statement, and the words are at MedStar. The things that we want to do, we hope ultimately to be able to nurture, test, develop, and present to and be adopted by the rest of the world.
So 2 questions, I'm going to open it up, and they're both related. So when you talked about your fundamental sort of tenets of your program, one of the things you talked about was the belief that there was this latent sort of innovation potential within the organization, and that one of the roles was to unlock it. How are you doing that? What are some tangible ways that you're programmatically doing that?
Well, we actually just, actually Donna spoke at our annual innovation forum for MedStar Associates. We were sold out with 450 people. And we pick a topic that at first glance has nothing to do with healthcare, based on the principle you've got to move outside. This year it was insight and imagination. We had an artist who draws characters for Pixel and Disney. The year before we did memory. We had a magician, a memory coach, come and talk. It helps opens people up. So, and we're hopeful, again, if the energy coming out of something we do is equal to the energy we put in, we have failed. The energy coming out has to be a large, large multiple. And it's not that we're creating energy, because that would violate the first law of thermodynamics. Energy cannot be created or destroyed. But we are unlocking the potential energy, and we hope it will spread. People learn something and they take it. Now we're also we're about to do some crowdsourcing of solving innovation problems. We'll see if that works. I am not sure.
Awesome. Okay, last question is related to the group of students here. Not every student here is going to come out and start a business, may or may not be entrepreneurs, may or may not go work for big enterprises. What pieces of advice, or a single piece of advice, would you give them in their role if they were inside the behemoth to be a catalyzer of innovation in their own organization?
It's always hard to pick the one. I think that it's is be curious and try to find the better way.
Awesome. All right, let's open it up for questions.